good evening. When I was a little girl, my dream was to become world champion and to win an Olympic medal in sailing. And I also dreamed that I wanted to learn to fly an airplane. And later on, I actually found out that flying an airplane and sailing, driving a sailboat is not that different. Whatever your dream is, small or big, like becoming a dancer, getting that university degree, becoming a teacher, winning the school hockey tournament, or maybe even saving our planet, the way of achieving all these dreams could be quite similar, actually. And I'd love to challenge you tonight to find out whether you recognize some of the lessons that I've learned in my life while achieving your own dream. Now, think of your dream, keep it in mind, and then land back on Earth and set a goal and make a plan, because a dream or a goal without a plan is just a wish. Let's start with long-term goals. We need a long-term goal. We need to set the desired outcome or result because they will improve your focus, they will give you a sense of direction, and they ensure commitment and motivation of the whole team. And even at certain times, thinking of your long-term goal can help you overcome minor or major setbacks that will inevitably happen along the way. But during your race, during your exam or rehearsal or training, you should prevent yourself from thinking of that result. Because thinking of results and outcomes in the middle of a race will bring you stress and it will distract you from what's needed right now. The result, your long-term goal, is the direct consequence of what you're doing right here, right now. Think and focus only on your task, your boat handling, flying that airplanes, the skills you've learned, and focus on whatever effort you need to make your boat go faster in the right direction. And that's where short-term goals come in very helpful. Setting shorter-term goals, like what you need to do this week or today, this flight or this training, can help you break down a seemingly unachievable, distant goal in more tangible, smaller steps. And your focus should not be to be perfect in the end, but your focus should be to be better today. In flying, before the start of each flight, we have a departure crew briefing. And before the start of our descent, we issue an approach crew briefing. And of course, we fly in and out Amsterdam, Schiphol Airport several times a day, year-round, and you'd expect we know every detail of this airport by now. But it's the small exceptions, the specifics of that moment, of that flight. Maybe it's the weather, like fog, or strong breeze, snow, ice, the technical status of the airplane at that moment, the amount of traffic into the airport, passengers, cargoes, anything specific. We discuss the specific challenges and possible threats, and we define mitigating measures and what to focus on that flight. In sailing, we never just sail. We never just train or go out on the water and sail around some marks. No, we always have specific goals for the day. Each day, before we go out, we discuss our carefully chosen goals for the training or the race. Because I believe that when you focus on, for the full 100%, each and every day on your daily goals, that the end result will follow automatically. So you can write them down like I did in my boat, write them down on your desk, your action points, your focus points, write them down in your hand, whatever suits you. And those short-term goals can actually also help you to contribute to an effective evaluation. Because evaluating your progress is very important and actually essential for continuous improvement and continuous learning, trying to be the best of yourself every day. In aviation, one of the safest means of transport nowadays, we have a strong learning culture. Most definitely within the airline I work for. The aviation industry always learns from past incidents, a reactive approach. But because there's so little incidents nowadays, especially within the Western aviation standard, there's less and less data to learn from. The aviation world, with the European, US, and Canadian legacy carriers as forerunners, has switched to a new approach of continuously improving their safety standards. They now learn from situations in which, in a very remote case, could maybe have contributed to an incident, but where a timely correction was made by the crew or by checklist or by airplane design. And these type of situations happen much more frequent, which means more data to learn from. And with this way of learning, you can ultimately try to predict where a possible future incident may take place, and of course make changes to prevent it from happening. And we call this type of continuous learning, continuous improvement, predictive safety management. In sailing, evaluating our training and races and giving each other feedback was an important daily routine for us. And of course, after a tough day, when we were exhausted or gutted about a bad result, we were not always looking forward to debriefing. Stepping out of your comfort zone again. Going through every detail again. Two ambitious girls in a very small and fast sailboat on the road for over 200 days a year, completely dependable on each other to achieve one single goal. It can be quite challenging, I can tell you from experience. But if we wanted to improve, we should not let one single day pass without evaluating our progress and give each other feedback. And once we had finished a difficult and sometimes emotional debriefing, we'd always give each other a hug and wrap our arms around each other's shoulders. And we were charged up with new insights, new motivation to improve ourselves the next day. And keep good track of your progress, of course. Buy a notebook or use your digital tools. This is a bit old-fashioned, I admit. Write, draw, make photos, videos, whatever suits the activity. With as much detail as works for you, your data, numbers, feelings, cases, insights, lessons learned, everything. Because don't let any valuable lesson, big or small, be forgotten or lost. And look back to it once in a while. I mean, everybody needs repetition, right? You'll see patterns, things fall into places, and seeing your progress can be quite motivating as well. So some say change is the only constant. Whether it's advances in technology or changes in legal, regulatory, or industry requirements, or increased competition, a desire to improve maybe, or a change like sailor faces in the wind, waves, currents, or weather systems. Learning how to sail in these winds of change is essential. First of all, expect change. It's going to be there. Anticipate on change. Even when you don't know if and when and where it will happen, it will be there. Consider possible obstacles. This allows you to come up with a plan and ensures you're fully prepared. Think out different scenarios in advance. On the flight deck, we always include a briefing for a missed approach. What if we can't land here? What are our options? What's our fuel state? But there are endless situations where you can't plan for, and that's where the resilient and flexible mindset is needed. Some things are up to us, some things are not up to us. Detach from the things you cannot control and focus on the ones you can. And know that sometimes the only thing you can control is your attitude towards something. As a sailor, I love change. I loved the unexpected change in wind because it offered opportunities that we could grab and use to our advantage. And with the resilient and flexible mindset and communication within the two of us, we'd get our head around the change as quick as possible and maybe gain a few places or extend our lead or pass a few boats. Trust that you and your team, with all the training and the teamwork and the skills that you have together, can deal with the change better than your competitors can. And like change, setbacks and failures are on the road on achieving your dreams will be inevitable as well. There will always be storms and rough weather to navigate through. 6 months before the Olympic Games, We were the absolute favorite to win a 3rd consecutive world title, but we didn't. We screwed up. We failed. And after that failure, the only thing we wanted to do was run away and hide and forget everything as quick as possible and quickly focus on the next tournament. But behaving like that would be a wasted opportunity. You should never waste a good mistake, actually. Because after every setback, ask yourself a couple of questions. What can I learn? How can I use this setback to improve my performance for the next time? And don't come up with excuses, because they're outside of your control. Empower yourself to make a positive change and get up every time you face a setback. It's going to happen a lot. Life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And yes, it is going to be hard work. There is going to be blood, sweat, and tears. Tears of joy and happiness, but also tears of disappointment. As an Olympic athlete, I both hated and loved at the same time the emotional highs and lows that you will encounter. It can be quite a roller coaster. And on your road to achieving your dreams, you're gonna need to make sacrifices as well. You're gonna need to push yourself constantly each and every day. And all of this, it's gonna be awesome, trust me, because it makes you feel alive. In sailing, we visualize, in sports in general, movements, maneuvers, boat handling, like tacks and jibes and starts, maybe even whole races. And in flying, each and every flight, I visualize the landing. During our descent, descending through around 10,000 feet, I imagine the last part of the approach. Where do I look? Where do I scan? And what's the crosswind? What's the runway characteristics? Is it wide? Is it a long runway? Is it any upslope or downslope? And then I visualize the last part. When do I shift my vision to the end of the runway, to the horizon, to register the descent rate in my peripheral vision? And then I pitch up a little to flare the air, to start to flare. Then maybe I use a little rudder to align the airplane with the center line, and a little aileron to keep the wings level. Then I reduce thrust on the engines, and I make a safe and hopefully smooth landing in a touchdown zone. And we all know this type of visualization, probably from sports, where we visualize to imprint specific situations in our mind to prepare and to train ourselves. But what the Olympic gold medalists in track and field once taught me was that you should visualize yourself achieving your dream, achieving your goal. Visualize the moment your dream comes true. Visualize yourself on that podium with a medal around your neck, holding the national flag, hugging your teammate, listening to the national anthem. Don't consider that dream as something far away in the distance, something only others can achieve. Vividly imagine and visualize this can be you after all the training you and your team have put in. After all the effort, you can win that medal. You can start up that business. And you can get that cum laude degree or maybe even change the world. And you'll get that medal around your neck. And you'll receive full credits. But never forget that the performance and the achievements was made by a large team, a great team. Because what Jimmy Spithill, winner of the America's Cup, once said, on your own you're worth nothing, but a team like this around you will make you look great. It all starts with a dream. Then set goals. Focus, evaluate, keep track of your progress. Deal with change, deal with the setbacks. Work hard, visualize. Trust your team. Do it. Good luck. Thank you.